Hey, what's up, y'all? As you can see, it's still Steampunk weekend, Steampunk Festival weekend. And since I'm all punked out, I figured I have to do this. I found, get to ride in a Model T replica. Check these out. I could not resist. So I'm inviting you guys to come along with me. So let's go check it out. Here's the Model T that we're gonna be taking on the Mafia tour. And you can see it's riddled with bullets. It's got little Tommy guns in it. I love it. Yo, you can rent these replicas, by the way. You don't have to do a tour in them necessarily, but you can rent them and just out like an hour at a time or 2 hours at a time or whatever you want to do, 24 hours even, I think. But you can rent them all day, all night, he says. They look so amazing. Okay guys, so just so you know, this is called Carriage Haus, and this is Willie D, my boy Willie D.
Willie D, 6'3". Here we are in Galveston.
Y'all can ask for him personally. He does a series of tours. He does history tours. He does these Mafia tours. He does Segway tours. When you come in here to Carriage Haus, you can ask for Willie D.
Yeah, if you want a custom tour on any content that you're interested in, if you want to see historic homes, if you want to see hear stories about the 1900 storm, if you want to hear the mob history stories, we can show you around, take you around. Just any specific time, just ask for Willie D and we'll hook you up. So JP Bryan acquired this building about 10 years ago and fixed it up, put in bulletproof, shatterproof windows and glass, because inside there you have some very unique and expensive artifacts that have to deal with Texas. And y'all may know Texas was its own country at one time. And so in there you will see JP Bryan, our local oil tycoon billionaire, has his all his action figures set up of the Battle of San Jacinto, all where Sam Houston came down and fought against Santa Anna and the Mexican army. And that was after the people fighting for Texas independence lost in San Antonio at the Alamo. So they came back in San Jacinto, and then Texas became its own country in 1836. If you had the money, you could build the latest and greatest and keep up with your neighbors. And so you'll see tons of these Victorian style homes all over the island. And I'm going to show you, if you look closely, a diamond, like, see the to the right of the front door right there, those oval plaques. That shows that it's Victorian standout. It's been on the Victorian tour. But just below it, I don't know if you can see it because of the plate, but it's a diamond shaped plaque. There's another one over here underneath the Texas.
Ah, yeah.
So anytime you see that diamond shaped plaque, it means that the place is a 1900 storm survivor. So we're facing kind of north, and behind us is south, north-south. And the island is not even 2 miles at the widest point, north and south. But as you know, very long and skinny island, 27, sort of like Willie D, long, long, lean island. So after this was done, they pulled out more money out of their deep pockets to fund another incredible engineering feat, which was to pipe in sand, mud, dirt, slurry, raise the elevation of the island up. So as you notice, when we go to the beach, we're going to be going uphill, because all of that 17 feet was filled in up to here. So now you have the sidewalk and the street. Here's an example of during that process, piping in. Here's a house. And they still use the same process to bring in sand for the beaches today. But in this case, is the entire island, raising it up an average of 8 feet, 17 feet at the seawall, sloping down to the harbor. Something they said very rarely, if it ever happens, a hurricane that had a beeline straight to Galveston. That Hurricane Laura made a 90-degree turn within 24 hours straight to Lake Charles. He's a smart one. He's a good dresser. He picks the latest and greatest fashion from what he can steal. Later on, he became known as the Bel Brimo of Galveston. I didn't know what that was till I looked it up. But it's an English thing for like a GQ, like a Rico Suave, like, you know, dressed to the nines, smooth operator. So that was Johnny Jack. So by the time they're 16, now he needed a right-hand man. He needed an enforcer. He needed a heavy guy because he was the smooth talker. He was the businessman. He was the brain, the thinker. He recruited a guy named George Macio. George had 4 brothers, but somehow George was the toughest of them all, even though he only had one arm. One-armed George. And then just put you in a headlock with his one arm, and he'd get whatever information out of you, or if you didn't give it to him, he'd bury you in the sand and pour lime on your head. One-armed torturer George was Johnny Jack's enforcer right-hand man. So Johnny Jack and George Macio decided to get involved in another vice here on the business, and we're talking before Prohibition. We're talking before, well, of course, before 1900 it existed, because I'm talking about the oldest profession in the world. Grab you some spices, and they have been bringing these kind of spices to the island for many, many decades. In fact, some of the recipes in there are well over 140 years old from the family. They are from Palermo, Sicily, Italy. The Macio family came here early 1900s. And if you don't pick up the spices, definitely try the muffaletta sandwich that they brought into the island as well, and it's delicious. And if you don't get that, at least go in there and grab a jar to take home of Macio's tomato gravy. Now, tomato gravy is what some may call spaghetti sauce. But you take tomato gravy, and you'll be glad you did, right here from Galveston, Macio, Spain. It's an import. They say this building over here on the corner was built by Johnny Jack and his gang, specifically from the ground up, just to be a brothel and saloon. And so here's the red light coffee. The top dark colored marker, those are the high water levels of all the major hurricanes that hit Galveston. The major being category 3 or larger. That top one is Hurricane Ike in 2008. About a foot below that or so is 1915 storm. Underneath that, 1900, you know what the diamond is, storm survivor. Underneath the diamond, 1961. Way down low is Alicia in the 80s and Harvey. Harvey just kind of went over us, but it flooded Houston really bad, category 5. The damage was enormous. So Hurricane Ike, though, the high water came from right back here, just a couple of blocks, is the harbor and the bay. So the eye of the storm went down the coast, 140 mile an hour winds wiping out stuff I'll show you in a minute. Then it looped around, and the eye of the storm sat right over here in the bay and the harbor side for 24 hours. So the Macio brothers, especially Sam Macio, he was into service. He did not want anyone lighting their own cigarette out. A staff member was supposed to rush to you, light a match, and light the cigarette for you. He was into service so much, he wanted your water to taste good. He loved Sicily, and back home when they were growing lemons and limes, he imported as much as he could to support his home in Sicily. So he would put a slice of lemon in everybody's water. You ever get a slice of lemons in your water today? Thanks to the velvet glove and the Sicilian lemons. Yeah, this is what I like to call the Rat Pack Airbnb. You will have Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra. This is where they would come party. There's even rumors that later on in the back there you have a big tall fence because they say Marilyn Monroe's over here, but I don't have proof of that just yet. I'm waiting for pictures. But we do have proof that the Rat Pack stayed there because this was a Macio property and they partied right here. So when you want to party like a Rat Pack, this is where you come.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. I can't tell you how cool that was. Willie D, man, that dude. A few years ago, I took a tour from the seawall, and it was called Galveston Experience Tour, and he was our tour guide. And when I went back this time, I just signed up for this mob tour to ride in the Model T and check out the mob side of Galveston, because I didn't know anything about that side of it. And I walk in, lo and behold, it's Willie D again, and we recognized each other right away. And I told him, hey, I'm fixing to shoot a video, is that cool? And he was like, yeah, man, not only is that cool, but come on, I'll show you some other things as well. This dude is like personalized when it comes to the tours that you want to see. Like he told you earlier in the video, if you want to see specific things like the mob tour, if you want to see the hurricane tour, if you want to see the classic homes tour, all of that kind of stuff, he can take you to show you those things individually, or he can mix it all together. On this mob tour, he took us around to see a few things that were just very cool on the island that I had never seen before, like, for instance, the red light district and some of the restaurants downtown that I didn't know that were there. And it was so interesting. This guy's so entertaining. He's hilarious. He's very knowledgeable, sharp as a tack, very smart, knows his stuff on the island. On the mob tour, for example, you'll learn about Johnny Jack, you'll learn about One Armed George, you'll learn about families who brought it from Galveston all the way to Vegas, some of which are still operating today. I did cut it a little short when he started talking about the mob stuff, because I didn't want to give this tour away. I really so strongly recommend it that I didn't want to give you the whole tour on YouTube so that you can go down and see Willie D and let him hook you up with the tour itself, because it's so worth it. But you're also going to learn about some of the guests that used to stay at the Galvez right there across from the Balinese Room Pier, and the fact that Frank Sinatra got his start there. I mean, there's so many interesting things. There was even one part, the audio cut out, so I couldn't use it. At the Balinese Room Pier, he showed me the matchbook and stuff like that, and talked about the lemon in the water and all that. But just after that, it got corrupted somehow. There was no audio, but he literally poured poker chips in my hand from the Balinese Room. And there was pictures of Frank Sinatra and all those guys around playing with these chips, and you never know. He might have one of the chips that those cats had. It was super interesting, super fun, 100% recommended. Any tour with Willie D. In the meantime, if you like what you saw here today, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. It lets me know you want to see more. And as always, thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you next time.